Hello, what is up guys? It is Keegan here, back with another team builder. This week we are playing against BBR and the Graveyard, I think is the name of his team. Really big week this is. He is 3-0 coming into this week. I am 2-1, and a lot of teams are doing very well this season at the top. I think it's kind of similar to how NCP went the last time I was in a draft league. A lot of teams were pulling wins away at the top and making it really difficult to get into those top 4 spots and the playoff spots. So that's going to be something we have to be mindful of going forward. So a huge week this is right now. If you haven't already, make sure to like the video if you guys enjoy the BBR and have been enjoying the season so far, and make sure to subscribe to not miss another video. So let's get into JBear's team here. He has Tornadus Therian, Iron Bundle that can Terra into water or electric. Insane how we have Terra bans, but Iron Bundle was not one of them. Scizor, Zarude, Enamorous Therian, Sandy Shocks, Gallade, Blissey, Quailfish, and Mismagius. This is a really interesting matchup. A lot going on here. Iron Bundle and Dragapult, 2 mons that are going to really be attacking 2 primary threats, really difficult to answer, and I think he has a little bit better of it on the answering in terms of my offensive threats. And I really don't have good answers to a lot of his threats. He can really put me into kind of the blender with the U-turn game plan with stuff like the Zarude, the Scizor, where we're really difficult in prep to think about how he wanted to play those. And to stuff like Iron Bundle, he can just U-turn off, bring an Iron Bundle, and it just becomes such a difficult challenge to manage in this team. And it's going to be one of probably the toughest matchup we've had so far. I feel like every matchup has gotten progressively worse as we've gone along. In this matchup, Tornty and Iron Bundle as a combination are just so difficult to check defensively for any team, let alone my team, which doesn't answer it particularly well. There's a lot going on with this team, and you're going to see the EVs and kind of how we built the set. It's very tailored to this week. We put a lot of effort into figuring out this matchup. Kaz and I have, I say Kaz has done a lot of work as always this week helping out. But we've got, I think, a good game plan to manage, I think, that U-turn into Iron Bundle blender situation that can really just, pummel us in momentum is what my main concern is coming into this matchup. If I look at kind of the common U-turners, Tornadus, even Iron Bundle gets U-turn, which is a nonsense. Stuff like Enamorous Therian also just randomly can be a setup set and win. Obviously has spikes and toxic spikes with Quailfish. There's so much going on JBear's side that is a problem for me to handle in this matchup. So let's not waste any time and let's get right into the team. So let's get into the team itself. Dragapult here, Dragon Dance set this time. We haven't really brought Dragon Dance yet, so good to get a first use of this. Want to have a variety in our Dragapult sets. We don't want to kind of be a one trick with Dragapult. Makes it easy to prep against. So this week we have Dragon Darts, DD, U-turn, Flamethrower. Now U-turn kind of helps keep our own momentum and kind of fade the idea that we are some sort of offensive mixed set, which we kind of are, but kind of fade the idea that we are a setup set. Some of the EVs here are going to look a little awkward, so we'll walk through that a little bit. The speed creep, is on bundle specifically. That one is, kind of a little bit self-explanatory. But the 104 special attack does a good job of checking the Scizor with Flamethrower. That's the calc that we need to get against max spit F Scizor. And then the Dragon Darts calc here for 168 attack. Make sure that after Stealth Rocks, we kill Iron Bundle that has 80 HP EVs. And 80 HP EVs is important to note because that is Iron Bundle speed creep that it gets available. So once it speed creeps, it gets a free 80 EVs, and then it can go from there. So we want to make sure we have that calc, and then obviously we have like 28 EVs. So put them into whatever just to round out the bulk profile of Dragapult just a little bit better. Next up, we have a setup of Volcarona here. Quiver Dance, Morning Sound, Fiery Dance, and Psychic. The bundle here gets outsped at +1, which is really all that the speed is required for on this set. We're not setting up on Iron Bundle, we're not coming in to check Iron Bundle, so we don't really need the speed to get at that, and we want to make sure we can just outspeed that at +1. Also, the 100 special attack. So in this matchup specifically, in terms of the calcs, we don't really gain any additional KOs or 2-hit KO potential past 100 special attack EVs, which is really good, and that it allows us to set up on Pokemon a lot easier with the fact that we can run a lot more bulk. And specifically what we want to protect these with this bulk is this Zarude, Power Whip, and Crunch after Stealth Rocks and stuff. So you see we have, a lot of HP in defense, and that's going to be primarily what we're trying to protect against, is allows this Pokemon to set up on a Zarude in the mid game is going to be very, very important. And once again, we don't really need more than the 100, special attack to get those +1 knockouts. So very, very crucial, that we gain that special attack or that defense and HP boost so we can make Zarude that much easier to set up on. We are Terra Fairy this week, and the main benefit we're getting from Terra Fairy here is a defensive option. We're going to be tearing pretty much immediately in this game to protect against that Zarude. It does get the Rock Slide, so we don't have Terra Blast to take advantage of that typing offensively. Going to be very, very important from a defensive perspective to remove that Fire and Bug typing as early as possible if Zarude comes in this matchup. Then we have Assault Vested Iron Hands. This is going to be our answer to the Iron Bundle. So a lot of EVs once again going on here as well. We got to make sure we outspeed Blissey specifically. That's important. So we do have 68 HP or speed EVs for that. And then the Oko calcs on here, we only really did the 164 to guarantee the knockout on 88 HP Torn, which is its speed tier creep. So that's really good to do there. And then once again, the rest of it can kind of go into the Spit F and HP to guarantee, Iron Bundle checks. Spit F Assault Vest, does a good job of coming in on basically everything besides Hydro Pump against Specs Modest Iron Bundle, but even then it still does a pretty decent job. And then getting knockouts and stuff like Torn T makes it so we can be really aggressive with Iron Hands. That was something that was really successful against Amel in that battle, is we got to stay in really aggressively with Iron Hands and punish Amel for trying to set up on me on my Iron Hands, and that's something we can probably take advantage of in this matchup as well against stuff like the Tornadus T and even the Iron Bundle. Obviously not going to be setting up, but we can be really aggressive against those Pokemon with the bulk that I have, given that we only need the 164 adamant investment in our Iron Bundle. Next up, we have the Uxie. This one is a little bit more simpler here, not too much going on. The attack investment here specifically allows us to 2-hit KO the Scissoraptor leftovers damage, so that's really important there. But otherwise, just a standard Spit F wall. We have Encore here for the Enamorus, in case Enamorus wants to get a little tricky with us, to go Subcall Mine. We can Encore it, go out into something like the Cryo and start attacking it. We can haze it as well. We do have haze on Cryo and stuff like that, or we can go into Volk and use that as a setup opportunity as well. Obviously, we have to set up a lot of quivers in its face, but that's another reason to have the Terra Blast in this spot. But once again, this is kind of general utility, and once again puts pressure on stuff like Scizor to not be a free switch into this in the mid game. Cryogonal, we bring our Rapid Spinner this time. Heavy duty boost, Rapid Spin, Recover, Haze, and Freeze Dry. 32 speed kind of is only really there to get those people who want to be aggressive on speed creeps. I know that's something that I like to do. You'll see like a lot of times on my sets that this happens. We're going 32 this time for that. And then once again, the HP and Spit F just to round out some Iron Bundle calcs. And then a little bit of special attack just because why not? We don't need that extra 20. And Bulk might as well put it in special attack so you can get a little bit of extra chip damage to enable our Volcarona and Dragapult in the late game. So that is our Rapid Spinner, and then we have the Palisand here. Rocky Helmet, this is a really, really good Pokemon against the Scizor specifically. Against a Rude, you can be really, really aggressive with this if you want to. But Palisand, mainly what we want to have here is enough special attack to break the max Spit F Scizor subs with Earth Power, so that's why we have some investment there. But mainly this is going to be our U-turn pivot answer, and you see the Rocky Helmet on the Volcarona as well, and that is kind of our general game plan in this matchup to beat the U-turn spam that J-Bear can really literally put on our team. Is that you can use turn with Zarude, the Iron Bundle, and the Scizor really effectively, and now we have a lot of Rocky Helmet damage that puts pressure on his team, and that opens up a lot of the huge calcs that we need, opens up a lot of the damage that we need to enable stuff like the Dragapult and the Volcarona to go ham in this game. And if we think about the game plan from that perspective, if you think, well, Zarude can't use Volcarona to check Zarude, it has Rock Slide. The game plan for this is going to be to lead the Volcarona immediately, Terra on turn 1, and either Morning Sun or just attack depending on what lead we see in response from J-Bear. Now he could lead something like the Iron Bundle. That would be pretty aggressive for him to attack my Volcarona on turn 1 with Iron Bundle, given that I could have like Giga Drain and have a set designed to counter lead against that. But that's, a potential that could happen in this matchup. So we are going to probably try to Terra turn 1 to protect against those rock slides. And then we have these 2 Pokemon that are going to do a really good job of using Rocky Helmet to deal a lot of damage in that mid game. So that is the team. Really excited for this game against JBR. I'm playing in a couple hours from now. And, this is a really, really tough matchup. But I do think we have a really, really solid game plan. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the battle.